Hi, my name is Ben. I play guitar in A Lot Like Birds, and I'm going to run you through my pedal board. It's kind of a mess, so just, it works, I swear. I use it every day. But, so yeah, I basically start at the beginning with this Emerson Concorde buffer pedal. Now, Mitch from Emerson recommends putting a buffer at the beginning of your chain because it kind of gives that oomph to your signal, and it especially works good for single coil pickups, which I'm playing a 3 Strat set right now. But, yeah, so that starts it off and goes into the Whammy Pedal. This is the newer version of it, which is really good. It tracks really well. It doesn't have the same quirks of the old Whammy where it would kind of come uncalibrated at random sometimes, just depending on how you plug it in and what the settings at. So yeah, it's really nice. It has a chord function as well as a classic, which is just really solid for single notes, but I just keep it on the chords because it sounds good all around. So after that guy, it goes into this MXR carbon copy, which, typically you wouldn't have a delay right there in your chain, but I don't use it for delay. I use it as like an oscillating effect, or basically when I turn it on, it just repeats back on itself and creates this crazy, just repeating oscillation, which is pretty cool, and I use it for a specific part in our set. So after that, it goes into the Hog, which, if you're unfamiliar with it, it's Electro Harmonix harmonic octave generator. It's a guitar synthesizer, basically. It takes your original signal, and you could add 2 octaves below, 1 octave below, keep the original. You have a 5th, an octave above, the octave above with a 5th, 2 octaves. I don't use the 2 octaves in a 3rd, but you have that, and then 3 octaves and 4 octaves up. You have an envelope option too, which I do use to get a swell effect out of it, which is really nice. And yeah, it's a really useful pedal. It's humongous, but it's really nice. After that guy, it goes into the Ernie Ball volume pedal, and this one has been modified by JHS, which they actually, I guess there's something inherently sort of just not desirable about the Ernie Ball, how it has the one input and it has a regular output and then a tuner out. And I don't know where this comes from, but what they say is that the tuner out sort of creates a like a tone bleed, so it kind of takes some of the signal out of the chain. So JHS does a modification for that helps cancel that out, and it's buffered again. So again, my buffer and then another buffer, so my signal is kind of getting a lot of oomph throughout the chain, which a lot of people don't really like, but for me it works. After that guy comes into, let's see. Oh, I think I got it backwards. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it goes the JHS or the Ernie Ball volume and then the Hog. So this is the JHS color box, and I kind of use it as an always-on pedal, and it's pretty nice. It's basically like a really good EQ that I'm using it for. It's a preamp pedal that's designed after the old school Neve console that was used on like every record back in the 60s and a lot in the 70s and stuff like that. JHS again, they're brilliant over there. Josh Scott's a really good guy. He really, they got a good team over there. They really are doing some cool stuff. And then the Walrus Audio Voyager pedal, which is my overdrive, which is killer. It's like a comparable to a Tube Screamer, but like they have their own sort of version or take on it or whatever. It's a similar sort of overdrive style. Then after that guy is this Strymon Deco pedal, which is really unique. I haven't really seen anything like it except from them. It's basically tries to emulate what the old school tape machines they used back in the 60s and 70s, where they started actually really experimenting with affecting signal and creating different effects. So you could do, like for instance, they would have tape-to-tape reels that would literally, tape would be on it, and the engineer could manipulate it and make it sound like a flanger, or they could give it some delay, they could give it like that slap back reverb sort of sound, some chorusy kind of tone, and that's really fun. And they could also drive, they could increase the gain on it and give it like an overdrive to distortion sound, which I do use as basically a clean boost for part of the set as well. So it goes from there into the Strymon El Capistan, which is a really excellent delay. It's like an echo, like a tape echo style. But I use it for delay, repeats, and it's really solid. Tap tempo, bypass. It has a lot of secondary functions that are really useful. I think it has built-in spring reverb, which we use on the record. Yeah, it's a really solid pedal. It's the reason why you see those on everybody's board. And then the Chuck Pedals Blue Dream Reverb, which is a really unique reverb in of itself. as well. And Charles Bennett, the guy who owns Truck Pedal, is his good friend, so he made this for me, and I love it. I use it, you know, it's my only reverb. You know, some people have a few reverbs, or they have the Big Sky or something like that, which has a bunch of different settings in it. But I really like the sound of this. It's really unique and kind of gives me a more signature sort of sound, which I'm pretty, you know, I like. So we just got, actually we've been working with them for about a year, but I just got these this year, and they're an amazing company. They've been treating us really well. They're super friendly. I met them at NAMM when I was there. Just, yeah, really good stuff. These are the ES60s, I believe. I could be wrong. ES50s, sorry. So it's a five-way driver, which gives you a nice, you know, clear tone. Kind of mixes up the frequency range so it doesn't muddy up, you know, with some lesser quality in-ears. But yeah, they're custom molded, so they stay in my ears really well. I did a custom design on it, which is just a logo I had designed just for fun, so it doesn't really mean anything. I just think it looks cool. So yeah, West Tone's really good. Actually, as a matter of fact, I work for a custom guitar company called Cower Guitars, and we're based in Sacramento, California. And so I built this guitar with, you know, obviously with the help from the guys I work with. So this is the Cower Arcturus, and yeah, it's a it's an offset body. It's a 25.5-inch scale, bolt-on neck. I have a Strat bridge on it, but it's semi-hollow, and I have a Strat set of pickups in it. So it's made of Spanish mahogany, which is it's, you know, comparable to African mahogany, a lot lighter, which is really nice, and especially being semi-hollow, it's really comfortable on my shoulder. This one, yeah, this is the only one like it. It's double bound, front and back, bound fretboard. I'm so proud of this guitar. You know, I have like my name imprinted in the back, so it's, you know, one of my pride and joys. Good quality components, Spurzl tuners. These are actually interesting. I can't remember the name of them, but these saddles you can't actually get anymore, so I feel really lucky to have them. They're designed in a way where you could kind of see the side profile. I don't know, it's hard to get the light in there, but you can see how the set screw is beneath the top of the saddle. So you'll see on a lot of Strats, or, you know, most 6-saddle bridges like this, how the screws kind of stick up and they actually are kind of jagged and you could cut your hand on them. This doesn't have that. This is actually the most comfortable bridge I've ever played because of those saddles. So yeah, those are unfortunately not available anymore, so I'm just kind of bragging at this point that I have them, but they're really cool. But yeah, that's my Cower Arcturus. I play couch straps. These are actually some of the best straps I've ever played. They're really comfortable. They're vegan-friendly material if you're into that too. Dunlop strap locks. I've had these particular set of strap locks for about 10 years. So if you're ever considering to buy some strap locks, get the Dunlop kind, because they last forever and they never failed. So these pickups is kind of a mixed set. The bridge pickup is by a company called Arcane, which is a custom shop company too. They hand wind their stuff. And then these two are a company called Tone Riders, which I'm kind of unfamiliar with. Since I work at the guitar shop, the owner, Doug Cower, he just had these laying around. I was like, oh, I'm gonna experiment with these and see how they sound. And they're pretty good. They're a decent output. They're about 6.5 ohms up to 7.5 ohms. So it's not super high output, but it's good, sort of a vintagey sort of tone, which I really dig. I use the bridge pickup a lot. Like for most of the distorted, like heavier rock parts you hear, it's going to be all bridge pickup. And then when I want to, you know, roll it or, you know, smooth it out and make it sound more, you know, just that, obviously just a neck pickup setting that's really classic. That's the setting I use second most. And then the mid position is really good too. I like this pickup for mid. I actually use that pickup whenever I'm using the Hog because it tracks really well. So that one's good. And I don't use the in-between settings a whole lot. I just put the Strat pickups on recently, so I've kind of just went from a 2 pickup setup to 3 pickup recently, so I haven't done the 2 or 4 position a whole lot. Run the volume all the way up, run the tone all the way up. You know, those are kind of superfluous at this point. They just stay up all the time. But yeah, I don't use the whammy bar either. I just keep it here for show. You know, it's just occasionally at home I'll play it, but I noticed a lot of the time just an inherent problem with some Strats is that when you use it, it can throw your guitar out of tune, and you know, I just don't want to risk it. But yeah, just there for show. So yeah, the strings, we actually got hooked up with this company called Gear Supply Co. So I'm using their 10 to 46 set, which is just like a standard medium gauge. and we play in E standard, so it's just, you know, ever since I started playing guitar, that's the tuning I've used, and it feels really, just really natural. I haven't really found another tuning or string gauge that I prefer. But yeah, Gear Supply Co. makes really good stuff. They last, you know, we play about an hour and 15, hour and a half sets plus sound check, so I change my strings about every other show just to keep up with them. I usually bring another Cower with me on tour, but I was trying something new. Like I got this Tele from my boss actually, it's Fender Telecaster, vintage style, kind of based on the, it's not exactly a 50s model, but you know, it's kind of based on that. Big ashtray bridge. It's nitro finish, so you can see that there's all the checking in it, and I aged it myself just because it was, you know, just a fun project to learn how to age a guitar. And I actually took most of the hardware off, and I would put it in the fridge, and then I would put it out in the sun, and then put it in the freezer, and put it out in the sun, and that helped the finish like shrink and then expand, shrink and expand. So that's how you get that finish checking. So I'm gonna kind of tilt it so you can see what I'm talking about. How the lines in it are, those are called just checks or finish checks. So yeah, same string gauge on this as well. Same gear, you know, same string company, Gear Supply Co. Another couch strap. The pickups are again tone riders, which like I said, I have them in here just because I haven't had a chance to swap them out, but they sound great. I don't know what model they are or anything, so I can't really give you much more detail, but they sound really good, just classic vintage Teletone. Reversed control plate, because this, I don't know, in the playing area, this is easier to move than the volume knob for me. So if I'm playing and then accidentally, you know, hit the selector switch, it can, you know, kind of mess up your playing experience, so I like it reversed like that. The only problem I have with it, it's kind of another inherent problem with, you know, with this style of plate, is that you can't really get in between the tone knob at this point and the selector switch when you want to make it quick, you know, swap from neck to bridge. So there are companies out there that make different plates, which I'm going to eventually upgrade to, where either I'll have the knob moved up basically a ½ inch to, you know, clear some space in there, or they also make this at an angle, or actually probably more at that angle, so you could actually, it kind of works with the arc of your arm, you know, with the throw of it. So yeah, you know, it's not a big deal. It's just kind of those things where you see a lot of people online, like they think like, oh, Leo Fender designed the perfect guitar, and like he designed an amazing guitar. That's why people still play him to this day, you know, ever since the 40s, but they're not perfect, you know, like there's all these little small things here and there that can use improvement. That's why it's really cool to get third-party components for them to upgrade and, you know, customize your own guitar. So yeah, like dig this one a lot. Seafoam green finish, it's kind of a classic vintage look, and it's really beautiful. Play a Vox AC30 combo. It's the top boost model, the 90s Cord reissue era. So it's like the one, if you can't get the vintage model, you get this kind, and it's good. But I'm running into a 212 Bogner cab that's backwards because we're loud and it'll pick up in the microphones, and it just makes it easier on everybody. I also have an attenuator on top too that actually squashes a lot of the sound, and it's pretty nice to have to contain, you know, when we have smaller venues where I could really contain the noise and the volume. Actually, this one, I worked at a backline company for a while, and they had two of these. This is the one with the greenbacks, and they also had one with the bluebells or whatever they're called. And just playing those, really dug it. And then actually, from a recommendation from Mikey, actually, he was about to buy this one, but ended up buying his, which is a 64, I think. 64 top boost model, but this one in particular is just like the Cord reissue era is the more reputable Vox, I guess, if you could get one, because like the custom classics are good. I like those too, but these are just better, you know. To each his own, but I really like it. So this is the infamous EBO. These are actually really cool. They create a electromagnetic vibration on the string, so it's like it basically sustains the note you hold it over that you're playing on your guitar, and you know, you could, it's basically like an electronic violin bow, hence the name EBO. So these are really cool. We use these throughout our set. Yeah, you could come check us out on tour. We're in Chicago tonight, but we're heading back west. So if you ever want to see any of this stuff in person, or check us out using it, see what it sounds like, you know, come see us. So yeah, we just had our record come out. It's called Divisi. It came out on the 5th of May, so it's only been out for a few weeks. But you could buy that in stores. We saw it in a random record shop just down in Florida while we were there. You could get it online. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Anywhere you could find music, you'll find our record. So yeah, it's a doozy. Let's see what else. Yeah, I'd really like to give a shout out. Thank you to Walrus Audio. They've always been really nice to them. We visited them on tour. They treated us really well. JHS is always amazing. West Tone, of course. You know, got to give it up for them. Digitech, Strymon, again, Chuck Pedals, Emerson, like all these companies. I'm super proud to be representing them. They're reputable. They have great customer service. It's just it's a dream to get to work with awesome companies like that. Of course, you know, check out Cower Guitars at cowerguitars.com. We're on, you know, we got our own Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, so you could go check out a bunch of pictures on Instagram especially, check out what we do. And then Fender too. Fender always makes a great instrument. I'm happy to be supporting them as well.